Hi, Aunt Nancy. Kennedy and I wanted to read a book with you today. This book is called Owl Moon by Jane Yolen and illustrated by John Schoenherr. Do you like this book, Kennedy? Yeah. Owl Moon by Jane Yolen. For my husband, David, who took all of our children owling, to my granddaughter, Nissa. Okay, let's see how we can make this work. So you can see the book. Okay. I was late one winter night, long past my bedtime, when Pa and I went owling. There was no wind, the trees stood still as giant statues, and the moon was so bright the sky seemed to shine. Somewhere behind us, a train whistle blew, long and low, like a sad, sad song. I could hear it through the woolen cap Pa had pulled down over my ears. A farm dog answered the train, and then a second dog joined in. They sang out, trains and dogs, for a real long time, and when their voices faded away, it was as quiet as a dream. We walked on toward the woods, Pa and I. Our feet crunched over the crisp snow, and little gray footprints followed us. Pa made a long shadow, but mine was short and round. I had to run after him every now and then to keep up, and my short, round shadow bumped after me. But I never called out. If you go owling, you have to be quiet. That's what Pa always says. I had been waiting to go owling with Pa for a long time. We reached the line of pine trees, black and pointy against the sky, and Pa held up his hand. I stopped right where I was and waited. He looked up, as if searching the stars, as if reading a map up there. The moon made his face into a silver mask. Then he called, "Whoo! Whoo! Whoo!" The sound of a great horned owl. Whoo! Whoo! What sound does an owl make, Ken? Whoo! Whoo! Again he called out, and then again. After each call, he was silent, and for a moment we both listened. But there was no answer. Pa shrugged, and I shrugged. I was not disappointed. My brothers all said, sometimes there's an owl, and sometimes there's not. We walked on. I could feel the cold, as if someone's icy hand was palmed down on my back, and my nose and the tops of my cheeks felt cold and hot at the same time. But I never said a word. If you go owling, you have to be quiet and make your own heat. Can you pretend to be quiet? We went into the woods. The shadows were the blackest things I had ever seen. They stained the white snow. My mouth felt furry, for the scarf over it was wet and warm. I didn't ask what kinds of things hide behind black trees in the middle of the night. When you go owling, you have to be brave. Brave. Then we came to a clearing in the dark woods. The moon was high above us. It seemed to fit exactly over the center of the clearing, and the snow below it was whiter than milk in a cereal bowl. I sighed, and Pa held up his hand at the sound. I put my mittens over the scarf of my mouth and listened hard. And then Pa called, "Whoo! Whoo! Whoo!" I listened and looked so hard my ears hurt and my eyes got cloudy with the cold. Pa raised his face to call out again, but before he could open his mouth, an echo came threading its way through the trees. Woo-hoo! Woo!
Owl!
It's an owl! Pa almost smiled. Then he called back, "Woo-hoo!" Just as if the owl and he were talking about supper, or the moon, or the cold. I took my mitten off the scarf of my mouth, and I almost smiled too. Let's see you smile, Ken. Smile. No? Okay. The owl's call came closer from high up in the trees on the edge of the meadow. Nothing in the meadow moved. All of a sudden, an owl shadow. Yeah, you see the owl? The owl shadow, part of the big tree shadow, lifted off and flew right over us. We watched silently with heat in our mouths, the heat of those words we had not spoken. The shadow hooted again. Wow. Pa turned on his big flashlight and caught the owl just as it was landing on a branch.
Oh, an owl.
Yeah. For 1 minute, 3 minutes, maybe even 100 minutes, we stared at each other. Then the owl pumped its great wings and lifted off the branch like a shadow without sound. It flew back into the forest. "Time to go home," Pa said to me. I knew then I could talk. I could even laugh out loud. But I was a shadow as we walked home. When you go owling, you don't need words or warm or anything but hope. That's what Pa says. The kind of hope that flies on silent wings under a shining owl moon. The end. We want to read more books. You want more books? You want to read bunny books? Okay, we'll see you next time with bunny books. Bye. Say bye-bye.
Bye-bye.